Well, you definitely saw those winds pick up pretty fast, and then right behind it, seeing a lot of good thunderstorms develop and warnings popping up all over the entire nation right now, because today is supposed to be a pretty active day for weather, as you can already see some of that hail pushing off to the east. And those winds are going to be sticking with us well into tomorrow. Looking at the temperature change, watch how fast this drops off right now. Now, we held on to the 70s last night. That's because we saw a lot of that prefrontal warming, a lot of that concentration of moisture. You could feel the humidity this morning, all the way up into the 90s today. Then a 20-degree drop just like that as those winds really push through. Looking at the temperature change across the entire Concho Valley right now, it is 74, but it's taking a while for my information to update while everybody else is still holding on to some of those warmer temperatures in those 90s and those 80s. Look at this spread across the entire region. Right now it's saying that it's 87 in San Angelo, but we know that it's already 78. While we're seeing 96 down there in Junction, 73 out there in Big Lake, and 81 up in Sterling City as the storm's making its way off to the east. It's pretty impressive right now. That's still a good 15-degree temperature spread, way warmer than we want it to be. That's near the heat dome-like temperatures as this high pressure starts to build in. Moisture all over the place, while those dew points are around those 40s and those 50s, but where it's raining, you're seeing those humidity indices completely dry out into those 30s. Now, we're going to continue to see a lot of explosive activity near Brady and Junction as we make our way into the evening. Some slow moving but powerful storms. Upper level pattern showing you how this low over the Great Lakes is combining with this system, making its way over the Gulf region. Now, look at these areas. That's a low off to the west, a low off to the east, and some extreme ridging. Then it weakens, moves in over the Panhandle, and this is through the rest of the week where, believe it or not, this weather's going to lock us in the 80s. It's going to be pretty pleasant here in the Concho Valley. Right now, the blue is the concentration of moisture. As you see that cold, dry air push in behind it, then we see both of those low pressure systems forming as you see that ridging over the Rocky Mountains, which is going to still keep us in the 80s here in the Concho Valley. Right now, severe weather outlook. Look how crazy this is right near Oklahoma and right on the border. And yes, that's us here in the Concho Valley in the crosshairs as well. This is tornado warnings, severe weather watches and warnings being issued, and it starts all the way down here in the Concho Valley and Tom Green County. This is where they're beginning to erupt, and they're already pushing their way out of the area as we're seeing some of those winds all the way up to 40 miles per hour. Now, the radar is cranked on as we're watching this line continue to push through. It's going to make its way off to the east as you get a good look at the futurecast. Watch how it continues to push off to Brady and Junction. Then those winds really pick up, and that's what I want to emphasize. If you have the opportunity, it's a good time to tie things down. I know everybody's been taking care of a lot of that yard work over the weekend. Might find a few loose, if not lost, Easter eggs, because the winds are really going to pick up, and that's what I want to focus on. Look how strong they're going to stay out of the northwest for the next couple of days, at least in excess of 20 miles per hour. Really here in Tom Green, and seeing some windier conditions off to the southwest and to the northeast. So tonight, we're going to drop down under those clearing and cool skies down into the 50s, but the winds are really going to stay with us. Then tomorrow, another clear day and sunny down in those 60s, and the winds are really what we're going to start feeling as we keep ourselves cool. Then we immediately rebound up into those upper 70s, and then we lock ourselves in the 80s for that first week of April. No, this is not an April Fool's joke, as we continue to see some of that cloud cover building by the end of the week, with next week looking like a good opportunity for some thunderstorm activity. But I think this is where we're going to level out in those 80s with those lows down in those 50s. Stay tuned up more up the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.